In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 reasons why you may want to semi-retire instead of completely retiring, or you may want to return to work part-time during retirement. Hi, I'm Camille Gaines. Here and on my website, retirecertain.com, I write about and talk about my investing adventure and our stumble into early retirement a really long time ago, way before it was popular, and how we survived and what we did during that time frame and what we've learned. In this video, I want to share with you these really important reasons why you may want to work part-time or semi-retire before you take the plunge. If you like this information, subscribe to my channel and click that little bell for notifications. This is what I talk about. Make sure you stay tuned to the end because I've saved the very best for the last. What I think is the most important thing for all of us to realize as we head into retirement or plan retirement or are already in retirement. The very first reason to think about working part-time in retirement or semi-retiring is money. Now, yes, I get it. That's what my channel is about. But let me do some really quick math for you on this. Let's say you're making $3,500 a month working part-time in retirement. And let's say that you are planning on making a traditional retirement withdrawal of around 4% a year. That's sort of how traditional retirement works. You can watch my other videos where I talk more about that. And yes, there are variations on the 4% rule. We're not going to get into that in this video. But let's say that you're making $3,500 a month. Did you know that is like having another $1 million in retirement if you're planning on using the traditional 4% retirement withdrawal rule after you retire to have money to live? Yep, that's the math on that. So is it easier to work part-time in retirement or to accumulate another $1 million before you retire on which you can make those withdrawals? There's lots of pros and cons about the withdrawals. You can watch my other videos on that. I really want you to see in this video the importance of bringing in just an income stream, that how much that affects how much money you need to save for retirement. All right, so that's the very first thing. It's money. The very next reason to consider semi-retirement is because of benefits. I mean, benefits are really great. And a lot of you have asked on my channel, and a lot of my clients have been concerned about medical insurance and how we handled medical insurance because we didn't have Medicare when we retired. I still don't have Medicare. So insurance is one of the biggest expenses, and it's going up all the time. And it's a scary thing to do without insurance and to feel like we don't have the coverage that we had when we were employed. Let's face it, the coverage that we get from employment is fantastic, right? There's all kinds of benefits. It's easier for insurance companies to offer really great plans to a group of individuals, a larger group of individuals, than it is for someone. I guess that's the reason it's so much worse when you're an individual retiring yourself, or a very, very small business retiring yourself, which we have been at times during our 15+ year sort of adventure into what was early retirement, and now it's kind of become semi-retirement because we do our online businesses, and that's kind of work, but it's pleasant work, and I'll get into that. Anyway, the point is, medical insurance, for example, is one benefit that makes a huge difference. And if you can save $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month, it's just like having that income that I was talking about in point 1. And that is, it's just like you have another $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, depending on how much you save, probably not $1 million, but it's like you have that money. So think about the benefits that you could get if you were working part-time or you were semi-retired. And it's not just the medical insurance. There may be dental insurance, there may be vision insurance, there may be vacations, and the other wonderful benefits that come with employment. The next benefit is a little more existential, I guess, and it's about boredom. I know a lot of people really look forward to retirement, but then they realize after they've been in retirement for a while, it's sort of boring. I know we can all stay busy doing things, but it's the mental stimulation, and you know yourself well enough to know if you're the kind of person that is going to really miss the mental stimulation that you get from your work. You may have seen my other video where I took a super early retirement to move overseas and marry my husband. We went for his job. I was so bored. I really missed the mental stimulation of my career. That's when I became the family investor. You can certainly do something like that as well. Investing is very important, and there's all the mental stimulation you could ever want out of investing. I still do a lot of research for my website and for my content here as well. And that provides a lot of mental stimulation. I would be doing that research anyway because I like investing, but I like the mental stimulation. And you don't necessarily get that outside of work, outside of employment, unless you have some sort of group that you're in where you do get the mental stimulation that you got in your job. And that's certainly achievable. It's just really different. So think about yourself and what's important to you. Will you be bored? I think there's always activities we can do, errands, tidying the house, fixing things around the house, gardening, and all of that, and that's great, but the mental stimulation can be something really important that you'll miss. The next reason you may want to semi-retire, work part-time in retirement, is it's so much easier to meet like-minded people. I mean, we all know that we need to meet people and hang out with people that are not like us, but come on, there's that wonderful commonality with people we work with that can talk our language, that understand what we're talking about. It's harder to meet people outside of employment. It's much harder. When your kids are grown in particular and you're no longer working, it's limited as to where you can meet people, particularly during shutdowns. And churches, other civic organizations and hobby groups and things like that are a great place to meet people. But there's something about a commonality of that employment, that work that's driven you for so many years, that creates a camaraderie that you can have among the people that you know through your work. So that's another really great reason to work part-time. The next reason to work part-time in retirement is because it's fulfilling. Similar to the mental stimulation, this is a little bit different. It feels good to contribute to society. Your skills, your talents, whatever it is that you're doing, it can feel really good. And no matter what that is that you're doing, there's something at the end of the day that can give you that satisfaction from saying, I really helped this person with this, or I helped our company do this, I helped our company mission fulfill this, I contributed in this way. And that's very, very fulfilling. As we get older, it's easy to lose that sense of fulfillment. So that's something that you really want to keep going. And an easy way to do that is by working part-time or being semi-retired. The next reason to semi-retire or work part-time in retirement is unemployment is really low as of this recording. Now, it may be different by the time you see this, but when unemployment is so low, you can make more money, you can say what you want and get it. What's the phrase for that? It's really nice to work when unemployment is low versus when unemployment is high, because there's a smaller pool from which people can hire. And older people can get jobs, they have experience that they can bring to the table, particularly when unemployment is so low. The next reason to semi-retire instead of jumping into full retirement is you're going to have so much more time on your hands. When you're working, you're used to the grind, that long day at the office, or now maybe from home, but you're used to that demand. So much time is freed up. It's unbelievable. But also, as you get older, there are fewer things that you're doing. If you had children, which most of us do, the children are grown, they're gone. That's no longer a time-consuming activity for most of us in our lives. Not only this, but we make cuts back on sports. A lot of people discontinue things like snow skiing or golf or tennis or running, because their body is just saying, hey, I need to cut back on this activity. I know that was one of the things I gave up golf, and golf takes a lot of time. So that freed up time that I said, okay, well, what am I going to do that I enjoy during this time? So as we get older, different things we don't spend time on, and it's filling that gap in a way that's not really demanding, but in a way that's pleasant when we work part-time or we're semi-retired. The next reason to semi-retire is because of the personal development that takes place while you're working. When we're working, we're learning things, we're growing, even if that means we're learning to get along better with people, we're learning to work with that challenging person that we work with, or that boss that we have, or those customers, whoever it is. There's personal development happening, whether that's from a learning perspective, or whether that's from a relationship perspective, or whether that's from some of the other things I've talked about in this video, fulfillment and focusing in on what we're good at and going after it. There's so many benefits from a personal development perspective that continue happening when you're semi-retired that can easily fall by the wayside when you're fully retired, and it can lead to depression and unhappiness in retirement. Remember, above all, retire certain.